Hello and welcome back to the Cocked Dice. We're here again with another conversion video, and this week we're tackling the Mortifactors chapter. They are a successor of the Ultramarines of the Second Founding, and they're a dark and brooding chapter who venerate an honoured dead to the point of obsession. This means we get to go Grindark to the max. Our parts for this week are wide and varied. Main piece we're going to need is an intercessor from the non-easy build starter set range, because I want to do some work on these knee pads. Really like this torso. I only really want the belt buckle and loincloth. We've got a couple of reliquies because they're awesome and will generally fit the theme of the chapter. I've gone for a head from I think that's a Reaver Sergeant head. We've got some spare bones, some flayed skin from Age of Sigmar Chaos, and I've got a couple of arms from the Black Knights box set for the Undead, mainly because I want these shoulder pads, which are going to become Space Marine knee pads. So the first thing I'm going to tackle tonight is replacing this belt buckle with the buckle and loincloth from this Space Marine Company Champion. It's a relatively easy conversion. We're just going to cut down each side, across the top, and then flatten off this belt and fit them on top of there. I will need to build this torso just to make sure it fits. So the first job is just level this off, take a knife and just straight across as level as you can, taking it around about level with the groin piece there. That will do it. And then with this guy, I'm just going to clip up and round and take this all off. So that's off, we've got plenty of space to play with. I'm just going to trim round this with another knife and just clean up the back as well and level it all off. So I'm going to quickly build this Marine, drop on a base before we stick the loincloth on, just to make sure we get that in a good position around his legs. What's important here is you do not stick the shin guards on, because we want to take his kneecaps armour off and replace it with something else. So while we're waiting for him to dry, I thought I would move on to the knee pads. Now, it struck me when I was flicking through my bits box that these shoulder pads from the Black Knights are a similar size and broadly the same shape as a Space Marine's knee pad. So what we're going to need to do is cut very carefully around this knee pad to take it out. Cut the shoulder pad off here and just take that bit of skeleton arm out from the back of it. Then hopefully it will all fit back together again. Or this might be a colossal mistake. We'll find out in a minute. With areas like this, I would simply cut with a very sharp knife and just work your way around very slowly, following the contour of the leg. And then once you've done it, we're just going to clean this little curve up down here a little bit. Just take this back bit off. Try not to damage the actual... And just give it a bit of a file just to smooth it all down. I want to keep the Space Marine armour as smooth as possible. And there we go, one knee pad removed. With the Black Knight, we need to clip his arm away first, so we'll just pop that off there. Nice cut just underneath, like that. I'm also just going to clip away this skeleton arm here. Underneath where we've clipped, we're just going to use a knife just to level it out and smooth it off a little bit. So now you can glue the lower leg onto the Space Marine. So we'll just glue his new knee pad in place. Don't worry if you've got a bit of a gap, we'll drop a little bit of green stuff in there just to make a rim for the knee pad later. Tidy that up a little bit. Not a massive problem there. So I'm going to go and do his other leg and we'll be back in a minute. So there we go, his knee pads are on and I've just added his loincloth there as well. We'll stick his arms on and then figure out where else we're going to goth him up a little bit. So next up, it's time to add some skin and flayed flesh to him. We're going to droop a bit from, I believe this is a Chaos Marauder sprue, command sprue from Age of Sigmar. We're going to drop this over his shoulder, then we'll drop a couple of extra bones over here, and if we need to, we'll tie it in with some chain in a minute. One thing I've noticed, this is quite a thick piece, so I'm just going to need to thin out this back a little bit to make it fit. Before we do the shoulder, I'm going to add this chapter symbol from Shapeways. This a 3D print, so we'll just need a little bit of super glue, and then we're going to start draping skin over it. So we'll pop some glue on this, drop that on his shoulder, and then we want to add a couple of bones hanging down as well. And there we go, a grim set of trophies for this Space Marine. We'll add a little bit of green stuff to mock up some a second attachment to the shoulder pad and make it look like there's a bit of string around that once this has dried off a little bit. Next up, this Space Marine's got a bit of a gap around here, so we're going to fill that with some reliquies, and I think we'll call him done. And here we have our completed Mortifactor Space Marine. In the next clip, you'll see him fully painted and ready for battle. So thank you very much for joining us once again here at Cocked Dice. We will see you again soon. Good night.